Alright, so this video, seemed to give me 3 reviews. I was total of 5. It's hairy. In a total of 5. Who cares? But no, so I asked a friend, I was like, what should I talk about in this next video? And it will be about like what to do when you're feeling empty and want to fill it with God. So we'll get to that real quick. There's an intro record. Alright, so talking about what to do like when you're feeling empty with God. I feel like there's times in life, and you can see it, where you have this feeling of being like, oh yeah, like me and God close, you know, but there's something going on inside you that's like, just not feeling it, you know. And I think that kind of what it shows you is that God is not a feeling from like what you just feel some days and you don't feel others, and that dictates your faith. Because if that was your faith, and that'd be very sad, and that'd be a very empty feeling, a lot. And I think you wouldn't be fulfilled at the end of the day. Like you wouldn't have the kind of like you wouldn't have the certainty of what God can do in your life, because you'd always be like, oh man, like I'm just not feeling it right now, you know. Like, and you shouldn't let your faith ever be that. Like faith, like other things, is something to be grown, to be built, to grow stronger, and with that is consistency. So that's like prayer and stuff. So when I think about of what to do, like when you have that feeling of inside you want to fill out with God, is I would say go to the Word, go to the Bible as much as you can, because in the end that is the Word. Like that's like if you want to talk to God, go to the Bible and pray, man, because like feeling that. Now I understand that can either be hard to time, but anything worth doing is going to be hard, you know. Like to get somewhere that you've never gone before, you have to do something that you've never did before. So I think there's that. I'm a big fan of like podcasts and YouTube videos of watching like Christian things, which I think that can also be dangerous though, because you can't let your faith only ever be that, because then you're gonna, if you're letting that be your faith, then your faith will always be through someone else and not a personal relationship with God. I think if you let that happen, you're missing the entire point. So, but no, I think there's good parts and bad parts to that. I would also say not every part of your life has to be like this grand moment of like talking with God. No. Yes, that would be amazing, that would be cool, but it's not possible right now. It's not doable. There's a story of a monk, I think, who was in the monastery, and he like told the lead monk, and he was like, hey, I wanna spend all my time praying today. That's what I want to do today. And so for hours he prayed all the prayers that he could think of, you know, went through like the list. The day he went to go get his meal for the day, and the priest dude was like, he's like, yeah, I didn't give you anything. And he was like, why not? And he was like, because you didn't work for it. He's like, God's not just in you talking to him, God's in everything, you know. So you gotta work, you gotta give God everything as you're doing something. So that leads into my point, is like, fill God with the moments in your life that you're always talking with, you know. So like when you talk to that, when you talk to a person, you know, like let that be a God moment. Let that be like a moment that you're like, hey, I want to reflect Christ. Now, I will be the first to tell you I fail at that. I do. I got mad at somebody today, but let those be those God moments too. You know, like your faith isn't just a feeling. It isn't just I read my Bible for 5 minutes, maybe take a picture, post it on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Let it be real, let it be genuine, and let it overflow into your daily life as well. You know, like there's spiritual life and there's daily life. Like, combine those. Like let those be one thing together. I think it also talks about like God isn't asking for perfection, he's asking for obedience, and he's asking for I'm forgetting the quote. He's asking for just faith, really. I think I'm forgetting the word there, but it basically just means faith. And the point is like you're going to fail, you're going to mess up, but can you strive for God even in your failures? You know, like if you're building a house, right? Let's say you're building something, and you make a mistake, right? You're still building a house. Like you're gonna fix the mistake, and you're still working towards the goal of building the house. Let that be your faith. Like you're building a relationship. You're going to mess up. You're going to make a mistake, but don't let the mistake ruin the goal of the relationship with God, because that is something we are always striving for the most. So, yes, I think sometimes there's just this empty feeling that you have, empty time, and God isn't just this feeling that we can put into a little box and be like, hey, I pull this out when I want it, I put it back in, and I go live my life. It's like, no, let God be in the mundane that he is. And mundane's like the normal, just the average every day, because God's in the highs and the lows and in the mundane. So let that be true. Is like just your daily lives, man. Like every interaction you have, you're reflecting Christ. You're reflecting your family, you're reflecting yourself, and you're reflecting who you are as a person, which hoping is that a person that is claimed by Christ. So I think it kind of talks about both of like what to do with that empty feeling and filling with Christ is get into the Word, pray, and then let your daily life be a fruit of that. Or when you have God but you're not feeling anything. And I think God isn't always gonna just be like, hey, what's up? You know, because what would that kind of faith be like if you're just like, oh yeah, God's right, I know it for sure, like he's right there, absolutely, prove it, done. You know, he's like, no, he's like, there's tests and there's hardship, and I think that's a part of it. I think that's a very important part of it, because that differentiates the people who really believe and the people who just do it for the aesthetic, you know. And I think like sometimes I worry about like, am I doing this for fake or am I doing this for real? You know, and I think that's a good, healthy question to ask, and I think it proves your faith even more. But no, I would say when you're feeling empty, because it's going to happen, just keep striving for that house that you're trying to build. Because if you can just keep your head down, keep pushing, keep working hard, keep doing everything that you want to be, and keep going with God, even if you don't feel Him, everything's going to work out. Will there be hardships? Yes. But God makes a way out for those too. And so get into the Word, pray, and love God well, and love people well.